hate when you.
ATP, what it do with your boy Clay? More rain. Shout out to all my subscribers. Everybody supporting this movement. We're growing slowly but for surely. If this is your first time tapping into content, I'm gonna invite you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit your bell icons as well, so you are getting alerts when all this content is dropping. So, rumor has it, right? Shout out to my brother Blue Blood Sports TV. If y'all know, y'all know. You know what I mean? I co-host 3 days a week with my brother, and we talk about boxing, and it's a great experience. We're elevating and doing great things over there. And with some of his connections that he's got in the game, getting conversations as far as, or just getting some information as far as, rumor is that it's possible that they're looking to push this this Errol Spence Sebastian Fundora fight out till March, right? And obviously, when these type of things come up, you know, as long as this fight's been getting pushed out and pushed out and pushed out, and it's on at one point, and another point it's going to be Sebastian and Terrence Crawford, and another point, right? We never really know where to put our finger as far as trying to stay on the pulse of this thing and really understand what's going on. It starts to raise eyebrows and concerns because, you know, questions start to arise as to why. Right now, clearly the PBC hasn't had the best year this year. The rollout with Amazon Prime has been a very choppy rollout. We're trying to figure out exactly what is going on. They said it was going to be about 10 to 12 to 14 fights that they were expecting to do this year. I mean, you know, just doing it on a monthly basis, that have been like pretty much an average of about one fight a month. They started the rollout this year late, right? Their first fight, I believe, was in March or something of that nature, right? That was pretty much right at the end of the first quarter, beginning of the second quarter area of the year, and started off with the Tim Tszyu Sebastian Fundora fight, and, you know, rolled out some other fights, but looking like they're on pace right now to be somewhere in between 7 to 8 fights, right? Somewhere like, let's say 6 to 8 fights, events for the year, and lackluster as far as in expectations, what we thought was going to happen, but each of the events held their weight, right? Exciting events. Some were better than others, some were obviously worse than others. The last event that just happened here this past weekend with Tim Tszyu and Bakram Murtaliazev, I hope I said his last name right, was a good event as far as the fights were decent fights on the card, 3 fights, but, you know, lackluster a little bit on the production. But needless to say, coming up and understanding that we were looking forward to a Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach fight, pay-per-view card that's supposed to be coming up in December. That pretty much, I would say, is pretty much it for them, right? Unless they have another free event or something that they want to squeeze in between that or after that. It looks like that's what they're going to be doing. So probably closer to 6 fights, 6 events for the year. And understanding that Errol Spence was in the conversation for fighting Sebastian Fundora ever since that March fight, right? Ever since March, this fight was supposed to come together, and at first was predicted to be around October this month that the fight was going to happen. But clearly, things didn't pan out as well as the PBC thought it was going to happen, or Errol Spence's team, or Sebastian Fundora's team. Who knows? Being that Sebastian Fundora's team and Samson Leibowitz, Sebastian Fundora's manager, pretty much said that he was looking to put the fight together with Terrence Crawford, right? And Terrence Crawford and Sebastian Fundora had some sort of conversation as to where Terrence Crawford gave permission to Sebastian Fundora to go ahead and pursue a fight with Errol Spence. Now, one can speculate where that came from. Was that Terrence Crawford skipping out an opportunity to fight Sebastian Fundora, or was that Sebastian Fundora looking to make a fight that him and his team said they wanted to make more than they wanted to make the fight with Terrence, right? They wanted to make that big fight with Errol, Texas, Dallas Cowboys Stadium, Mexicans in Texas representing in a large way, and obviously Errol Spence being damn near the face of boxing in Texas. You know, they thought it was going to be a bigger fight. Things may have changed a little bit, being that Turki Al-Sheikh has taken a liking to Terrence Crawford and supporting him and backing him and making the biggest fights possible. So maybe their minds change in the process. But ultimately, the latest news is that this deal between Sebastian Fundora and Errol Spence is pretty much in the books, right? This is something that is going to happen. This is what the boxing space will tell you. But when is it going to happen? And what's holding it up from happening, right? Is it Errol Spence who's not ready yet? Is he still healing up from the fight he had with Terrence Crawford back in July of 2023, right? A year and a half ago? Is it him dealing with recovering from surgeries, from things of that nature? Or is the business just not there yet? Is the business not lined up to where Errol Spence wants it? You can speculate in multiple different directions, but at this point, for me, myself, it's in between two things, and two very important things. Number one, is Errol Spence coming back to boxing? And what capacity do we expect to see Errol Spence in when he comes back to boxing? Is he going to be dominating? Is he going to be one of those guys? He's trying to put himself in position right now where he's coming off of a huge loss, a dominant loss from Terrence Crawford, and now being catapulted into another title opportunity, another title situation to fight Sebastian Fundora and challenge him for his WBC title. Now, we know that the cost of this fight getting put together, according to the WBO, is that Sebastian Fundora is supposed to be getting stripped of that WBO title, ultimately upgrading Terrence Crawford's WBO interim title into an actual regular title and making Terrence Crawford a unified champion in the division while that's happening. Sebastian Fundora and Errol Spence fighting, what's holding it up? The PBC seems to, the deal between the PBC and Amazon Prime and how these fights roll out seem to still be in the air, in discussion. You hear rumors about Amazon not necessarily being too pleased with the way the PBC business is going, and then you'll have other PBC fans who will tell you that everything is going according to plan, and then you'll have Steven Espinosa come out and do a random interview at one of the events and say, listen, he believes that Amazon is getting more comfortable with the idea of televising boxing, and that he's expecting this to actually initiate and catapult a more large rollout, more free events and more pay-per-view events. They think that this thing is just going to take some time. Now, my question is, how is the deal structured? And it's always been, how is the deal structured in between the PBC and Amazon? And how does that work out for the fighters? Like, we know that Tank Davis has a deal, right? Somewhere between $200 and $240 million, supposedly. This is what the space has been speaking about. Amazon hasn't confirmed this. We've not got any actual documentation to back this up. We're just hearing, we're hearing speculation, rumors, or people who are supposedly close to these camps that are confirming this information, right? And these credible platforms are putting their signature next to it, co-signing, saying, yeah, this is what the news is. Tank Davis has secured himself a $200 to $240 million guaranteed purse deal, right, to make these fights happen. Well, that secures him and gives him that guaranteed money that he's probably looking to get to make these fights. And then you have Canelo Alvarez, obviously, who also is working on the same energy. He doesn't believe in just eating what I kill, getting the money later. He wants to get his money up front. He wants to be guaranteed the money he's getting to make the fights that he's making. And it seems like he's been pinned in to the Amazon deal. And those fights have been easy to secure. So when it's time for Tank to make a fight or time for Canelo Alvarez to make a fight, these fights are made very easily. But when it comes to these other fights, it seems like it may be a little bit more complicated. And with Errol Spence, one could question, how's his deal look with Amazon? Does he have a guaranteed deal with Amazon? And if he doesn't have a guaranteed deal with Amazon, being that he used to damn near be the face of PBC boxing at one point, is it reasonable to argue that Errol Spence wants his guaranteed deal? He wants his deal penned in as well with this Amazon Prime deal, and he wants to be sure that he's going to make a minimal amount of money before he goes into these fights. And if this isn't been put together, when will it be put together? And what's Errol Spence being told? Is he being told to sit tight as this deal is coming through, or are they trying to convince him to do something else? A whole lot of questions being raised as to why this return of Errol Spence has been pushed and kicked down the road. This can has been kicked down the road since March, right, of this year. That we thought that Errol Spence was even coming back, being that he turned away, not that he wasn't coming back permanently, but being that he turned away a rematch clause with Terrence Crawford and didn't actually follow through with that rematch clause to fight Terrence Crawford and get his opportunity back to get that win back. You would have thought that Errol Spence would have sat out longer anyway, but he showed up, right? He showed up the night of the Tim Tszyu Sebastian Fundora fight. And
Errol, come and join us right here.
Hey, what's going on?
You said you would like to fight the winner of this fight. Well, here he is. What do you have to say?
I was trying to get it on. He got the big dog now. Let's go.
Right? This is what Errol Spence said. He put this space on notice that he was ready to go. He put Sebastian Fundora that he was ready to go. Samson Leibowitz was very vocal in saying that he was very interested in making that fight happen more than Terrence Crawford, because Errol Spence was the bigger purse, or the bigger prize. He was a bigger draw, right? I believe is what he said, and the space basically agreed with him. So here we are in a present moment right now in October, when the fight was supposed to happen, and it's not happening right now. They said they were expecting the fight to happen in late January. Well, now there's rumors going on in the background that they're potentially thinking about pushing the fight out to March. Why? What's taking so long to put this fight out? What's taking so long to the point where you put Sebastian Fundora on a year hiatus? Because if you're fighting in March, he'll literally have, the last time he fought literally will have been March 30th of this year, right? Or Errol Spence being on a 20-month hiatus at this point, damn near 2-year hiatus, waiting on this fight to come together. What's holding it up? I think it's going to be interesting to see how this thing plays out. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. Supposedly, Errol Spence and Sebastian Fundora in discussions may have to push this fight out into March. Maybe what we're looking for and seeing, and people are having questions pop up everywhere about it. Me, obviously, being one of them as well. Shout out to my subscribers. If this is the first time tapping in to the content for you guys, for the new guys, please subscribe to the channel as well. Hit your bell icon so you're all getting alerts when this content is dropping. Let me know what you think in the comments. But at this point, we out.